It's the EP Podcast. Evergreen Park.
Sitting here with Renee Malott, and we're at the American Legion where it's starting to rain a little bit, but Music Fest going on. Tell me a little bit about how it's been going so far, because it was beautiful weather when I showed up. And then by the time I set up the camera, man, it's a downpour behind us.
Well, you know, I've followed your podcast. It's a great podcast, the EP Podcast. It's very important to our community, just like the Legion is. And my point was going to be is that you're talking about the rain. It was beautiful when you got here. If you're south side, you're from the Windy City, you're from Chicago, you get it.
Yeah.
It'll change in 3 seconds.
It will.
And we'll both be lucky if it doesn't snow at some point. Right?
Now, so, Renee's got a show. I just learned this. You've got a podcast. Tell me a little bit about it.
It's Windy City Redneck, the podcast. It's started out a couple years ago. Windy City Redneck was started with our buddy, Greg Say. And he's passed. He passed from ALS. Was a great guy, but he was instrumental in teaching us how to hunt and fish and do all kinds of things outdoor. We kept on doing things, and then we sat around, and you get it. Podcast became a big thing, and the guys we sat around one night in the lounge and were like, hey, let's do a podcast. So we bought some equipment, and as they say, the rest is history. We opened up the box, and we've never looked back.
That's awesome.
That's not important. I'd like to talk about the Legion.
Oh, yeah.
And the Legion, this place in Evergreen. You know, like EP Podcast. It's a great podcast. You focus on everyone in the community and all the great things that go on. And I've just recently gotten involved with the Legion. And these are some amazing people. And when you drive down Kedzie and you go down, and I'll just be frank with you, people look at it as if this is an old man's bar.
Well, I think that's the thing. I've always tried to explain to people, like, you don't need to be a member. There's something going on in there. It's fun when you go into the bar.
It's a blast.
And they got a lot of stuff going on. They got entertainment on the weekends. They've got that. The Queen of Hearts right now is ridiculous. What is up to? About $50,000 or something like that? It's crazy. Yeah.
We'll be over 55,000.
So, I mean, like, there's a lot going on here. And I think when people discover it, I always get the comment, like, hey, I finally went in there and, like, you're right. Like, why am I not going in here more often?
It's a hidden gem.
Yeah.
It's a hidden gem. And you'll walk in here, and it's amazing. You know, you love interviewing people, correct? And you love hearing their stories.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you're surprised all the time. I challenge anyone that's listening to this podcast and watching it on your YouTube channel to come in here, sit down on some random day when you got nothing to do. Sit next to a vet. Ask them how they're doing, and you're going to get a story you're not going to believe.
Well, it's the bar set up perfectly for it. I mean, let's think about it. It's one of those horseshoe bars, so you're looking across at somebody else. Like Bleeckers used to have a bar like that here in Evergreen, and everybody always sits there and says, oh, I miss that kind of bar. Well, you got one in Evergreen at 97th and Kedzie over at the Legion, because there's that horseshoe bar where the bartender's in the middle. You can talk to the guys across. You can talk to people side to side. It really is like one of those places where it's impossible not to get into a conversation and make friends in this place.
And there's, I mean, that's the beauty of the South Side.
Yeah.
You know, that's the beauty of what me and you do. You know, I do it as a hobby. You do it much more often than me, and you love listening to people's stories. And you will listen to stories in this place that will just amaze you. Today, our chaplain, Chuck, is here. Chuck's an amazing guy. You got Becky, who's our manager here at the
Becky
Post.
runs everything. She's the best.
She does. And
she's incredible.
And she runs around like the Energizer Bunny. She's amazing, and she gets stuff done. But you can't do it without volunteers.
Right.
And I don't know, you were standing over there before the rain came in, and I made an announcement on the speaker, and I'm going to use this right now for a chance to let people know this. This place has been here for quite a while. We need new members.
Yeah.
You mentioned we're open to the public. You do not have to be a veteran. You don't have to have served. You don't even have to drink. No, you do not. You can come here anytime you want.
So anybody can come in.
We're open to the public, Chris.
And they can become.
We are open. Well, you can't become.
Well, you can't be a member.
We're open to the public.
So what do you got to be a member?
I'm a member of the Sons of the American Legion.
Okay.
I have not served a day in my life.
Okay.
But I am here, and I am sponsored by my grandfather, Peter Edmund Malott,
who did
served
serve
in World War II.
Okay. All right.
And you fill out the paperwork. I can be a member of the Sons of the American Legion.
Okay.
Sons of the American Legion help the Legionnaires. This place runs by the guys who served. That's your Legionnaires. They're the backbone. We have the Women's Auxiliary. The Women's Auxiliary are the women of the veterans. They come in here. They run our Split the Pot. They're out here today. We got a spaghetti dinner coming up. They're amazing.
You have a Christmas in July happening here.
Yes, we do. I think this
Sunday.
is our first one, and that's Becky again, the Energizer Bunny, running that one and driving that one. It's amazing.
Yeah.
She's still looking for vendors, so if people out there are interested in being a vendor, we could use you. We're looking for people like that. We're looking for original stuff. This place is original. Look at it. It's got the old school face brick. We haven't done much remodeling on the inside. Maybe some of that's unintentional and intentional. Who knows? But there's some plans
Well,
up here that make things a little
You
bit
did
better, too.
remodel. You did remodel that banquet area,
The
which
banquet
is
room
beautiful.
is amazing. Yeah.
And it's
and
like
it's
one of those
open
things-
for rental, by the way.
Anytime somebody sits there and says, "I want to have a party, I want to do this, I want to have a gathering," where can I find something at Evergreen Park? I always think to myself, like one of the nicest banquet halls in the area is over at the Legion. You just don't know it when you drive down, but it's brand new. Like that's why the Village has all their big events in here.
Yeah.
That's why you get the Chamber of Commerce. There's a big dinner in here every year. I mean, there's a reason for that.
And I'm glad you brought up the Village.
Yeah.
The Mayor Burke, all the trustees, they've been great. They're always helpful. We just had our Memorial Day remembrance here. And the Eternal Flame is going all the time. And the mayor and the trustees were, they went out of their way. They blocked off Kedzie Avenue for us that morning so that we could have our color guard come through. We played taps, and they didn't want the traffic going by. They were very respectful. So, folks, when you're watching this podcast and you're listening to it and know that the administration you have in Evergreen, for all the little quirks you think could be better, you should thank your lucky stars because they go out of their way to help organizations like this, just like they do with the girls' softball leagues, the boys' baseball, the high school, and everything that's going on here. You can be a critic all you want, but it's places like the Legion, your administration at the Village Hall and everything that make this town run. You can find something wrong with everything, and you know that just as well as I do. But it takes amazing people, like the people that are out here in the rain right now, toughing it out. And they'll stick around. These are your Evergreen Park
Whiskey
diehards.
and Harmony's coming up, and and they were just on the show, and I know people want to see them play, and they do a lot of crowd participation.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this: I remember last year was the first year that you did this, and I felt when I walked in. I mean, the rain doesn't show it in the background as much. When I walked in, I was like, "This is bigger this year. This festival is growing. This idea of getting everybody out here once a summer and playing live music in the parking lot for the entire day is growing. You can see that.
Well, in that analogy that you're making, that's all on you. Because, like I said, I'm a new member. They just got me started. I was not here for Music Fest last year.
Yeah.
I have to be, truth be told, I was one of those guys that used to drive by here and not come in. I was one of those guys that didn't. I would come in occasionally, but some of the guys asked me to come up for Queen of Hearts. And I came up for Queen of Hearts. It's a fun time.
Yeah.
It's neighborhood people. Tonight we have a new marquee sign out on Kedzie Avenue.
Yeah, some guy won $20,000.
Big Al.
Yeah.
Big Al. And this guy that won it, he won it $20,000. This is the guy that you were talking about. You sit down, you have a conversation with him. He'll tell you all kinds of stuff. He won't tell you his name or whatever. And he's just so true. And for him to have won it, I can't tell you how many of the Legionnaires, SAL, Women's Auxiliary, and the Legion Riders, when they found out Al won it, they're like, that's great. Maybe the rain and everything, God's not on our side, but he helped out Big Al. And Big Al I'll guarantee you, Big Al is always giving some money back. He's a great guy. So that's the right guy to win it. And that's an Evergreen thing. That's a Southside thing. And I couldn't be prouder of being with these guys. But the analogy of last year's fest and how it is now, one of the things I look at is maybe we have half as many people as last year, but as long as everyone's having a good time and they thanked our veterans for serving and doing what they do and having things like this, and we have it again next year, and we're not losing money on it, so be it.
No, I can see it's getting bigger, and I appreciate you sitting down with me, and good luck to you, my friend. And
cheers.
People
And
should
good
get
luck
out
to
here
you.
to the American Legion.
They absolutely should, and they should support these guys. We've got slot machines here, just like they have at the other establishments in Evergreen. We got the old-fashioned pull tab machines. Maybe when you were younger or you were a kid, you'd go to Wisconsin before the video gaming hit the South Side and everything. That was the only way you could gamble before. Either you shook the dice on the bar or you did the pull tabs. We got the old-fashioned pull tabs, and people play them.
That was always the best. When you were a kid and you walked into a place like that, and like they'd let you pull the tabs, and then it would be like, then the bartender would be like, I can't pay you, but I'm going to give it to your dad. It'd be hysterical when you were,
And if you've never been in here, folks, and you get a chance to come by, this place is old school, but old school is important. And just know that because our veterans served, those old guys that sit at that bar, they're heroes. And you never know what kind of hero you're sitting next to when you come in. Thanks, Chris, man. I've had a great
this guy
time,
pumped me up. Are you pumped up at home? I'm pumped up.
I hope so.
I'm
Come
pumped,
on
man.
out, right?
You pumped me
You're
up.
going to stick around for a while?
I am going to stick
I
around
hope so.
for a while.
And
give me the name of your podcast again.
It's Windy City Redneck
All right,
the podcast.
check out Windy City Redneck podcast.
And dude, I love that socks hat. We got to change the mojo.
They're
got to get
terrible.
it right.
They're so bad.
Well, you know what? They're trying. But it's like the American Legion, Southside institution.
Yeah.
Post 854.
Yeah.
Southside institution. White Sox are Southside institution, and this place is just like Sox fans. You never give up. You never forget. You always try to do better. And then what else can you ask for in
Man,
life?
next time I need a week off, I'm having this guy host the EP podcast. What do you say?
It's the EP podcast. All things Evergreen Park. It's the EP podcast. Evergreen Park.